Yes. But again, when it's the fact that it is there, I mean, and it's operational for whatever limited use it is surely also an advantage for other people, an example to be looking.
Over other countries.
I would question the word limited because you wouldn't get all the people to come into the IFC if it's not been there. I mean, if you look at the situation that existed before this, if you're talking about the IFC being a financial centre, is first of all, in terms of the banks that were operating here in the UAE, you couldn't actually get a banking license. If you're outside the UAE, so there's a limited number of banking licenses available. So therefore, you might be able to have a representative office, but you couldn't really do business.
Right.
By creating the DIFC, they're allowed to Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch's and all these people to come into the DIFC. And the reason that they were able to come into it is because they were more comfortable working with the laws of the DIFC than they would have been. They couldn't get licensed to operate outside. In a normal way, banking licenses are licenses, but they could within the confines of the DIFC. And they didn't have to contend with the law because it was their own laws that were actually having to operate on it. So that was...
But as far as you know, in this region then, are you looking at DIFC as sort of it's its own little kind of state within that? Yeah. But what about other areas too? What's going on in Bahrain? Do you have any idea in terms of where, do they have a similar type structure within the financial market? Or?
I don't think they have to the same extent.
No, just going back to the DIFC, what was the fourth one on your list there? Just because...
world-class infrastructure. Well, the next one is, so we got recourse to the law, which we agree everybody needs, and there should be more. Effective regulation.
Yeah.
Effective. Yeah. World-class infrastructure.
And I just look at that and I sort of say, going back to the point I made earlier about, Man United, Wayne Rooney, so Warren Buffett, JP Morgan.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing in that list. Like you have rules of football, you have the rules of golf, but that doesn't attract Tiger Woods or it doesn't attract Roger Federer to tennis. Like there's nothing there to me that sort of says why JP Morgan they are here in form or why they would come to the Middle East. What do you actually... So we've got great infrastructure, great. We've got great regulation, great. We speak English, great. But I'm not thinking of moving to the Middle East for any of these 5 reasons.
It goes to the question of, if it's overextending the metaphor, if you have a hub, that has to be spokes.
Yes.
And where is it a hub for?
Yeah.
And what connections does it have? And why would that be the centre? Ireland becoming a hub in financial services, back office function, which it was and is a 15-year-old thing.
Yeah.
The spokes go into Europe, and they will continue to go into Europe with the passporting of funds. So what I don't know how you summarise it in that though.
But the hub here being from...
those 5 that you drop, or that something wouldn't appear on the map or the radar that should really be one of the top 5.
Oh no, we can change these around. Yeah, basically what we're saying are this is the 5 they've got here, and maybe there are 5 different ones, or in different order.
Because I'd argue differently than David here. I'd argue, having been part of DIFC from the start, that names are now leaving the DIFC. The brands that they were so successful in attracting in the early days are leaving because of cost, bureaucracy, and over-regulation.
But where are they leaving to? Are they leaving to?
Going back to their host country, or going maybe having a look at broader Asia or bigger Asia. I think that the Middle East really has to struggle with how its thinking permeates into how businesses are run here.
But why are you saying they're leaving now? You're saying cost the regulations, or the bureaucracy?
And there's nearly a point of over-regulation rather than adequate regulation, balanced regulation, as we spoke about outside.
Do you think a lot more of that regulation has come on board because just recently, since
Because from the very start, even the people that were there at the very start were disciplined regulators, as opposed to, as I sort of said, balance. In every business you should have maybe your academics, but you should also have your streetwise people. I think it was too heavily populated with regulators and academics.
I think that because it had the regulations, it enabled them to attract in national firms in.
Right.
I think there's a reason at that particular time when they were actually going out to get people, Dubai was seen as a low-cost business environment. Before the crisis, it was no longer a low-cost business environment. It was quite an expensive environment to operate in. And therefore, I think there was been happening is that some of the businesses that looked at the businesses that are actually being able to achieve now in the downturn and compare it to the cost of being able to do that business, and that's why they're leaving, is that they cannot actually justify a continued presence in terms of the business they're doing. And that's why you're seeing some of the businesses going. I think above all, I mean, if you're not covering your costs and making profits, then you may be thinking of somewhere else.
You know, I always jump on that label that Bahrain set itself on, like business-friendly Bahrain.
Yes.
You know, it's across all the channels now. Like it started on CNBC, and now they're using it.
Stamp deliveries as well.
And is it business-friendly Bahrain? Like, you know, there's nothing. Dubai was business-friendly in early stage, but then I think people got greedy and it lost its cost controls and it.
But only at the IFC or in general?
Well, I think in general, but like, you know, the DIFC was so successful in its early days. Like, you have to ask, well, why did it start to become less successful as the years passed by? You can sort of argue that some of the meltdown in international financial markets is part of the reason, but you know, there are specific DIFC reasons for a lot of these people leaving.
I think there's one phrase that Riyadh mentioned, which I think is quite important: retention of human capital.
Yeah, I do want to go on to that, but can we just stay on this just a minute? Because I think there's something here. The business that's leaving the IFC, are they leaving the country, or are they just moving into maybe another free zone here?
No,
that because of DIFC, the other areas have kind of come up in terms of, you know,
they're leaving the region at the moment. Well,
I thought they were coming in.
Bahrain is definitely, you know, fighting for some of what the fallout here is, but most of them are probably gone away back to their head office to rethink. You know, they're not abandoning the Middle East per se. They acknowledge that the Middle East will continue to be an important place.
But none of the big players have left, have they? Who have left?
They've all reduced staff by at least 50%. You take any, with the exception of Standard Chartered now and HSBC, the ones that are closer to the broader region, right? But they've got the commercial banking. You know, what David is sort of saying there, look, I'm talking about the banks that didn't want or couldn't have a banking license in the UAE. And they were the ones that, you know, the best you could do is have a rep office that you hope to maybe have a commercial bank. I'm talking about the actual investment banks, the banks that weren't interested in a retail license that are here. They've all reduced. Like, you know, have a look
They've
at the
reduced, but
space.
I mean, hasn't everybody reduced all over the world? But they were all here. Nobody has closed up shop.
But they haven't in China. You know, they haven't reduced the numbers. All I'm saying is that this is still one of the most. If you get a map of the world in front of you and give you 3 pins, put the 3 pins on that map where you think there's going to be growth over the next 10 years. You certainly put one pin in the Middle East. It may not be in the UAE, but you put it in the Middle East. So, like, you know, there's no serious branded financial services player that doesn't see the Middle East as being an economy or a region that they want to be involved in. But you'd have to ask why then, like, you know, and really like, the problems that they have are more in America and Europe than they are in Asia and the Middle East. Like these banks, but the cost control accountant sort of has to shrink to, it's like, you know, you go into battle, you lose a few troops and you sort of say, hold, let me sort of decide how I should attack the next time.
I mean, I think that I would say that DIFC is still, I think the reason for setting up were valid, and I think it's still, I think if there hadn't been the global crisis, I think it would be, you know, still going forward. I mean, I know there's quite a lot of people still, you know, coming into DIFC.
Yes.
If you actually go back to the rationale for setting up DIFC, which was really because the Middle East is a net creditor for the rest of the world, and what we wanted to try and achieve was, instead of all the money going offshore and being handled offshore, back in Europe or America and so on, is that they wanted the intermediation to happen here. And so they encouraged people to come here on the basis that they were here, then the business was being done here, and the region could benefit from the business being done. I think that what's really happened is there's less business to do,